These soil-reviving grains were so effective, chemical companies tried to erase them from history. Before the Great Unraveling, the American heartland was a sea of grass, a vast, stable ecosystem that had thrived for millennia. The soil beneath was a dark, rich treasure, held firmly in place by the deep, intricate root systems of native prairie plants. It was seen as an endless resource, a promise of prosperity for a nation hungry for expansion. But in the early 20th century, a wave of unprecedented agricultural ambition swept across the plains. Driven by the economic pressures of the Great Depression and the promise of new farming technologies, millions of acres of this ancient grassland were plowed under. This was the Great Plow-Up, a period of intense, unsustainable farming that stripped the land of its natural defenses. The native grasses, which had anchored the topsoil against wind and drought for centuries, were gone. In their place were shallow-rooted crops like wheat, which left the earth exposed and vulnerable. For a few years, the harvests were bountiful, and it seemed as though humanity had conquered nature. But nature had a different plan. A devastating multi-year drought began to grip the nation, turning the once fertile fields into barren expanses of dust. The stage was set for an ecological catastrophe of biblical proportions. 1930s. America's soil was dying. The Dust Bowl destroyed millions of acres. This wasn't just an agricultural problem, it was a human tragedy. Monstrous dust storms, known as black blizzards, swept across the plains, carrying away the precious topsoil and burying homes, farms, and lives. The sky would turn black in the middle of the day. The fine dust infiltrated everything, causing a deadly respiratory illness known as dust pneumonia. Families who had poured their lives into the land watched it literally blow away, forcing a mass exodus of over 500,000 desperate Americans, searching for survival. The nation was on its knees, its breadbasket turned to desert. And just as it began to grapple with this internal crisis, the world plunged into a global conflict. Then, WWII forced farmers to rediscover ancient grains that could resurrect dead earth in one season. The war effort demanded unprecedented food production to feed soldiers abroad and citizens at home. With the nation's primary agricultural lands decimated, farmers and government agencies had to look beyond conventional crops. They turned to the wisdom of the past, rediscovering hardy, drought-resistant grains that had been cultivated by civilizations for thousands of years. Grains like sorghum, millet, and amaranth. These weren't just crops, they were survival tools. Their deep, fibrous root systems could penetrate the compacted, lifeless soil, breaking it up and reintroducing organic matter. They required far less water than wheat, and could thrive in the harsh, arid conditions that the Dust Bowl had left behind. In a single growing season, these remarkable plants could begin the process of healing, stabilizing the soil and preventing further erosion. They were a lifeline, a testament to the resilience of nature and the power of forgotten knowledge. They didn't just produce food, they produced hope. They demonstrated that even after a disaster of our own making, the earth holds the keys to its own revival, if only we have the wisdom to look for them. Grain 1. Millet, the soil doctor. Its massive root system breaks up compacted earth and deposits organic matter. One season of millet can triple soil fertility. Grain 2. Amaranth, the drought warrior. Grows where other crops fail while pulling nutrients from deep underground to surface level. It's a natural soil miner. Grain 3. Sorghum, the erosion stopper. Its dense root mat holds soil together while its tall stalks create microclimates that retain moisture. During WWII, these grains saved nations from starvation by turning bombed-out cities and depleted fields into productive land within months. After the war, chemical companies realized these grains made fertilizers and pesticides obsolete. So they launched a campaign to replace them with dependent crops. The result? Soil that's now 60% less nutritious than in 1950. Farmers trapped in chemical debt cycles. And a food system on the brink of collapse. But a handful of farmers kept these grains alive. Now they're proving what's possible. Dead soil brought back to life in 90 days without chemicals. Have you ever felt that frustration? You pour your heart, your time, and your money into your garden, only to be met with disappointment. Your soil feels like concrete, water runs right off the top, and your plants just struggle. It's a story playing out in backyards everywhere. Gap. For decades, we've been told a convenient but damaging story about our soil. We've been taught to treat it like a dead thing, an inert medium to be propped up with a constant stream of chemical fertilizers and quick fixes. This approach, born from post-war industrial agriculture, has systematically stripped the life from the very ground beneath our feet. It has broken the ancient, natural cycles of renewal, leaving us with soil that is compacted, depleted of nutrients, and devoid of the microbial life that is the true engine of any healthy ecosystem. But what if we could reverse that damage? What if the solution wasn't about adding more and more artificial inputs, but about restarting that engine? What if the secret to incredible fertility, resilience, and abundance was already waiting, locked within the genetics of a few ancient plants? Gap. It's a radical shift in thinking, moving away from feeding the plant to feeding the soil that feeds the plant. You don't need a farm. A 10x10 foot patch of these grains can transform your garden soil in one season. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a biological reality. These specific grains, ancient powerhouses like sorghum, millet, and amaranth, are what we call soil builders. Their roots dive deep, creating thousands of tiny channels that break up compacted clay and allow air and water to penetrate. They act like a living plow. Gap. Above ground, they create a dense canopy, a living mulch that shades the soil, conserves precious moisture, and suppresses weeds, eliminating the need for backbreaking work or chemical herbicides. But the real magic happens at a microscopic level. These plants exude sugars from their roots, feeding the bacteria and fungi that form the soil food web. This explosion of life is what creates true stable fertility. They are actively building topsoil, sequestering carbon from the atmosphere, and depositing it back into the earth where it belongs. They are healing the land on a small but profound scale. They work in containers, raised beds, any space. This is about more than just better tomatoes next year. This is about reclaiming your personal food security. It's about creating a resilient, self-sufficient ecosystem right outside your door, no matter how small your space. By dedicating just one season to healing your soil with these grains, you are setting the stage for years of effortless abundance. You are participating in a quiet revolution, one backyard at a time, proving that the power to restore our earth and nourish ourselves is, quite literally, in our own hands. With food prices skyrocketing and supply chains failing, these grains aren't just about soil. They're about food security and independence. We've been taught to see soil as little more than dirt, gap, an inert medium to be filled with chemical fertilizers and pesticides. This industrial mindset, born from a post-war boom of convenience, has systematically stripped our land of its vitality. For decades, we've treated our earth like a factory floor, prioritizing short-term yields over long-term health. The consequences are now starkly clear: depleted topsoil, diminished nutrient density in our food, and an ecosystem dangerously out of balance. We are witnessing a slow-motion crisis, a modern dust bowl unfolding not with dramatic dust clouds, but in the silent degradation of the very ground beneath our feet. This isn't a problem for distant megafarms alone. It's happening in our own backyards, in the community parks, and in the forgotten patches of land in our cities. But there was a time when we knew better. A time when our survival depended on a deeper relationship with the land. During the Second World War, millions of citizens transformed their lawns, parks, and rooftops into victory gardens. These weren't just gardens, they were a declaration of resilience, a grassroots movement that produced nearly half of the nation's fresh vegetables. People understood that food security began at home, with their own two hands in the soil. We can reclaim that wisdom. We can reverse the damage and build a foundation of true abundance. starting with just a small patch of earth. The solution isn't complicated or expensive. It doesn't require a degree in agronomy. It requires listening to the land and working with nature's own powerful processes of regeneration. This is your 90-day plan to do just that, to transform compacted, lifeless dirt into a thriving, living ecosystem. Start with millet to break up soil, then amaranth to mine nutrients, then sorghum to build structure. In 90 days, you'll have soil that grows twice the food. This three-stage succession of cover crops is nature's blueprint for soil creation. The millet acts as the pioneer, its dense, fibrous roots creating thousands of tiny channels, aerating the soil and breaking through compaction. Then comes the amaranth, a dynamic accumulator that sends a deep taproot to draw up valuable minerals that were previously locked away and inaccessible. Finally, sorghum, a biomass powerhouse, adds a massive amount of organic matter both above and below ground, creating the spongy, water-retentive structure that is the hallmark of healthy soil. This isn't just gardening, it's ecological restoration on a personal scale. You are creating a living bank of fertility that will pay dividends for years to come. They buried these grains to sell you chemicals. Now you can grow the solution in your own backyard. Your food security starts with these seeds.